Yeah, you can't really get too close with the microphone. Like, we chat pretty well for about this distance. And that seems to be fine. So yeah. Pretend it's Jack Steele. Get it right in you.
Put it in my mouth.
Sam, stop licking the microphone. G'day and welcome to the MacPack podcast.
We're back.
My name's Jamie Kenner, and to my left this week in order of the biggest baseball fan we have here on the panel, it's my little brother Joe. How are you, boy?
Jake, I'm going great. And yeah, ever since I started playing baseball on the Wii, I've been looking forward to this moment.
That's my right, coming in at 6'1", as he does each and every week. It's the baby brother of the pack. Who we call Junior Boy. Junior Boy, how are you?
Home runs are relatively easy on the Wii, but I've heard they're harder in real life.
Hopefully our guest today will be here to sort of unphase these little life hacks. Is the Wii harder?
That's as far as our knowledge goes.
In real life, we are extremely fortunate to be joined by Perth's Heat's Sam Kennelly. How are you, Sam?
Yo.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
We've got so much to chat about. I'm actually struggling to fathom how much baseball you've played in your short, well, it's not even short, it's a massive career. It's going to be a massive ep. So, let's get into it. Boys.
Brother-Mingos.
How are we all? Are we all well?
Great.
Fantastic.
Boys, super excited for our guest. He's arguably the most successful guest we've had on the panel, and after chatting to him for the last probably half hour, it's only become more confirmed that is the case.
Almost
Yes,
a
very great.
decade of playing at an elite level.
Yeah, at elite
Of an
level
elite.
baseball. Sam, welcome to the MacPack, mate. How's things?
Yeah, going well, mate. Going
Yeah?
well. Been looking forward to this for a long time.
You have.
so-
It's actually, I must say, it's been nearly 12 months. The plan was to get you on when we moved into the new studio, which our avid listeners would have heard
Yeah.
for about 12 months now. The new studio is going to be at my place. It's no longer...
Yeah, we're not moving.
yeah, we're not moving.
This is it.
And so for so long, I was like, yeah, man, when we get into the new place, you'll be the first guest. And then we never went in, and now you're here. So welcome. I'm sorry it's taken us so long. We don't plan much here at the Backpack Podcast, and that's probably becoming pretty clear as well. What's been going on, man?
Nah, obviously the baseball season getting underway on the weekend.
Yep.
And, yeah, sort of a few months before that, getting ready for it. So it's exciting times, and especially after COVID now, we haven't played, professional baseball in WA for so long. It's exciting, and I think the nerves were a little bit extra over the weekend, and it's good to sort of have people at the stadium again. And
So was that the season opener?
Yep.
Oh shit! And you guys play what I found baffling. 4 games in 2 days?
3 days, yeah.
Still fucked. Still fucked. That's a lot of games in not a lot of time. How's the recovery going? How's the arm? How's the shoulders?
yeah, it's good. Normally Monday's a day off, so a lot of guys are feeling it on Mondays. And
Are you feeling it? Today's a Monday. You feeling it?
yeah, I woke up a little stiff this morning, and
Yeah. Where are you? Not a weird way, but where are you stiff? Like, is it the shoulder?
In the mornings when you get up, where are you stiff?
it sort of depends. Like a lot of the pitches, it's shoulder and elbows and backs.
The big three.
For batters, it's your legs and your back. You're standing for 9 innings. 3.5 hours sometimes per night, and all the pre-game stuff, post-game stuff as well. So yeah, it takes a big toll on sort of your whole body, but more so your legs and your back, and because you're swinging the bat so many times and throwing the ball so many times throughout a series, it's sort of everywhere. So it's sort of good to have those days off to recover and sort of get ready for the next week.
There you go. And the boys went 3-1 over the weekend. Adelaide took out the Friday match, which was a surprise because you guys led a lot, like the whole through 6 innings you were in front.
Yeah, and that's baseball. You can be leading the whole way, and for us it was a certain pitch that didn't go our way, and then next thing you know they get a hit, and then they get another hit.
Momentum
and
changes.
it sort of tumbles from there, and we should have taken 4 off them, but to come away with a series of 3 wins is a huge plus, and move on to next week.
And Saturday was huge for the Perth boys. Would you go 19 over 2 games? Went 19-0.
Yep.
Which was pretty nuts, especially being there Saturday night, 14-0. Mate, that's domination station. That.
Yeah, it's to shut out a team to 0 runs in 9 innings hard enough, but to do it in back-to-back games is pretty special. And we've got a good pitching staff, and they throw the ball hard, and a lot of their breaking balls are pretty good, and we're lucky to have them, and we only really need to score a few runs to keep us in the game every week.
So how many innings are in a game?
9 innings. So normally 9 innings. On Saturday we played 2 games, so instead of 18, we play a 7-inning game, and then obviously we have our break, and then we play 9 innings straight after.
right.
So,
And what's it like playing the same team? Like
Over
so
and over
much,
again.
yeah.
You get sick of him? Sure.
Just like the vibe change
Do you
game
play
to
him
game.
once a year?
we play every team twice a year.
Okay.
Some teams once a year, but over the 4 games, you tend to get tendencies of where guys hit the ball.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes you face the same pitcher a couple of times in the series, so you do get a bit of an advantage. And obviously, if you don't do too well, then they've got the advantage over you. So, it's 4 games every week you play against them, and twice a year. So, by the time you get to the end of the season, you know who hits the ball where and what pitchers throw the ball when. And it's can be an advantage, but then it can also be a disadvantage as well.
Yeah, you can always read too much into it at times as well. We first met Sam doing body match about 12 months ago.
Yes, down at the gym.
The big 3 in the gym.
It was fuck me. It
wonder
was
who works out
we're all
the
mad. It was pretty heavily publicised about our struggles in the gym. The assault bike was arguably my biggest weakness.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone assault an assault bike like Sam did. It was like next level. He still remains the only person I've seen absolutely dominate an assault bike at the same level which he did. You were better than Jared at
Were
it.
you in the same
But,
group?
Hey?
Were you guys in the same group?
Yeah, it's scary to think. Hey,
Yeah, we
really?
sort of showed him the ropes.
Yeah. I just shadowed them and that assault bike's not a good experience.
It's not.
Yeah, no.
But you put it to
You
the
finish and you're walking on the street and it's almost like someone shot you in the quad twice.
walking on the street, groveling is
Yeah.
probably the language.
Throwing up in the corner.
So how did you do Jared stuff fairly frequently, or what's the story there?
No, so I had a friend, Matty Lane, who
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yep.
and he dragged me along, and Jared's he's a great dude. I still think he's one of the best humans alive, and he does a really, really good, and he's getting a lot more media out there now.
Yeah.
And
I heard he's got a
doing
big
very, very
podcast
well for
coming on
himself.
in a week.
Yes,
He's got
I
us.
hear
We're
that too.
going
Yeah,
to go join him
Beautiful,
next
beautiful.
week.
Biggest one of the year. But he's a great dude, and it was just something that came along, and obviously while baseball wasn't on, it was obviously something I wanted to do, and heard so much about him and how good it's been, so
Yeah.
And
why not?
what is the training like for baseball? Because it is a sport where, especially like in America and stuff, some of the guys who still play are quite old and stuff like that. So how intense is the training?
You do get a lot of older guys in baseball. It's sort of how good you maintain your body throughout a year.
Yeah.
In the major leagues, they play 162 games in 6 months.
right.
So you're playing every day, and you might get a day off maybe once a fortnight. So it's sort of what you can do during the year to, get your body right to be able to play every day.
Yep.
A lot of different positions do different stuff. So a lot of pitchers, they'll do a lot of explosive stuff, leg stuff, arm cares for position players, and batters. It's what you can do to, not have your body break down throughout the year, because you are playing every single day. So it's a lot of pre-season and off-season work, and then once the season comes, it's a lot of just body maintenance and what you can do.
Yeah.
To,
Preserve
get
yourself.
up the next morning
Yeah.
and play. Yeah.
So is it common? Do other countries also do the whole like you versus a team 4 times in a row?
Yeah. So
Is
it's
that common?
so they do series in baseball. So in the major leagues, I play against your teams in your division, 3 or 4 times in 3 or 4 days, and then you travel to the next city and you play against another team, and it's the same here, except we don't play every day. It's only 40 games over a 4-month season, and it's
Still.
just a little less tiring than 162 games in
Yeah.
6 months. So, and normally you travel a day over there, you're flying to a different state and playing that night.
Yeah, so it's hardly recovery.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'd probably prefer to be playing, to be honest, than getting on a plane to play
Yeah.
somewhere else. What do you do when you're not playing baseball?
Try and play a lot of golf. A lot of the baseball guys, they're into their golf a lot.
Yep.
But other than that, sort of spend time with mates. During the Perth Heat season, it's very hard to get away. Obviously, all your mates go out on the weekends, but we play Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, Sundays.
Yeah.
So you don't get to catch up with them a whole lot during the season.
Yeah.
So sort of when you can during the year, it's good to sort of go out with them and, whether it's breakfast or whether it's golf. I always try and do that, but it's just so hard during the year that during the off season, you try and do it as much as you can.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Makes up for the time that you can't during the year.
That's so funny. A lot of elite athletes like yourself and a lot of NBA players and NFL, they all love golf. I wonder why. Like it's
crazy.
fun, but it's not that fun.
Well, it's
Riley
like
hates golf.
it's like in terms of
I'm just
sport,
shit at
it's
it.
like probably the most like relaxing and also
And it's very
I get
social.
small-
So triggered.
very small risk of injury.
Yeah, it is. I
Like,
think
yeah, sorry.
for baseball players as well, it's like it's an excuse to go out there and just go smash golf balls
Yeah.
for 2 or 3 hours
Yeah.
and sort of get away from the sport. And a lot of guys bet on games and have a bit of banter and stuff at golf. So it's a get away from golf, and it's
How are your batter swings? Like, are they like pretty battery, or are they like golf swings?
my golf swing is terrible.
Yeah.
My golf swing's bad.
Because he needs someone throwing the ball.
They say a lot that a lot of baseballers. Well, and I know for myself, I just try to hit the ball as hard as I can
Yeah.
every single time. So my short game's terrible.
Fuck.
My drives,
imagine.
my drives are terrible. None of them go straight, but it's all about how hard you can hit it and how far you can hit it. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter if it goes straight. You're happy if you hit it past everyone else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I always find like golf. I was watching some of your game on the weekend, and like just thinking about the whole concept of the round bat. Fuck, so much room, so much room for failure.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if you know, is there a certain degree of the bat, like the circumference?
Goodness.
There would only be so much of the face in which you can hit it and still travel.
Because there's a lot of foul balls
straight
that do
direction.
go straight over
Slide
the
up.
back.
yeah,
Yeah.
there is. And I don't know, baseball's a sport where you fail more times than you succeed, and you're a good player. The Hall of Famers that are in the major leagues, they fail 7 times out of 10, and they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the way it is. It's a good batting average in baseball is 300 average, which is hitting the ball safely 3 times out of 10. So
Yeah, okay, right.
every other sport's never like that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If it's in golf and 3 out of 10 swings,
You're
are
not even
good,
hitting
you're
the ball.
you're probably going to come play with me. Yeah. But yeah, it's such a hard sport, and these days everyone's throwing harder. Everyone's curveballs are better.
Yeah.
Everyone's the way they throw the ball at different speeds is much better, and it's becoming a sport where everyone's just getting bigger and better than what it used to be, and it's just who can work out and who can work the hardest to be better than everyone else.
Yeah. And so do you guys play with metal or wooden bats?
Wooden bats. So normally
Does
that's
anyone play with metal bats? That's not a
normally
thing,
through
is it?
juniors or beer league. So people that have not so good the wood bat, you just push them to the metal bat
Yeah,
leagues.
okay.
And
Why
So
is
is
that?
metal easier?
well, they say metal bat goes further. I haven't swung a metal bat since I was probably 12 or 13 years
okay.
old. So I don't know the science behind it. But
Because it bends? Is that the thing?
It must be a.
It's a bit more
Some
pliable.
sort
wood
of
bats,
give.
you have different type of wood bats. So there's normally 3 different types of wood. So you have a maple, a birch, and an ash. So maple's your hardest wood. So normally heavier, a bit more dense, and then your ash is a little bit more lighter, and then birch is sort of in between. So
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
There you go. We're
What do
really
you- what do
learning
you-
about
and
the
what do you play
introduces.
with?
maple's always maple. So it's
Yeah,
a little bit
okay.
heavier, but
But
they
you're
break,
strong.
break less, and when you hit it, it goes a little bit further. So.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll
Fuck, we're
take that into account.
We're getting some good insights. Like, we're 3 boys who have grown up on cricket. Cricket was our summer sport.
Yeah. Yeah. Did
No
you
bats
ever-
change heaps. Like, I was chatting to one of the boys. What Don Bradman was using was no more than like a piece of bark off a tree.
Yeah.
And now, like,
They're
These-
the thickest thing.
yeah, these bats are like thicker than
Tree
most blokes'
trunk,
skulls. And in baseball, the bats don't just, they always seem very consistently.
Yeah. They've
The
got
same.
It, they got it right. Good on 'em.
Yeah, circles.
Is that the case? Is there like science behind that, or is it literally just what you've just said?
No, so I guess everyone's different. So obviously, if you're if you're 5'10" and don't weigh much, you're going to use a smaller bat.
Yep.
It's obviously a
Yep.
smaller, thinner bat. But then, the guys that are 6'3", 6'4", bigger guys swing it a bit harder. They'll swing a heavier bat. So everyone has their preference. I have preferences on the size, the weight,
Girth.
even
Are we still talking about bats?
even to an extent of the colours of bats. is
Right.
What colour are you going?
I'd always went kind of. I mean, it's weird to say it, but I always used to use a black barrel. A black handle black handle.
Are we
with a-
still talking
with-
about bats?
with sort of like a
Yeah.
cream unfinished barrel. But
Oh yeah.
these days with not getting bats, I just take what I can get given. So.
Okay, cool.
Take what you get.
We're done. We're done. Alrighty, boys, we're back in the studio with Sam Kennelly. Sam, how did you get into the game? We want a bit of a history fact check on what your life was like as a junior, how you got into. Because as we said, we're cricket guys.
Yep.
We're playing Have a Go since we were like 3 or 4. I imagine your story is very much the same, but it obviously ends a lot more successfully than ours.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 5 boys in our family. So
Yep.
my oldest brother, once my parents moved over from New Zealand, my oldest brother actually filled in for a friend of his teams in T-ball,
Yep.
and really enjoyed it and sort of got the hang of it pretty quickly and decided to sort of join for the rest of the year, and then played the next year, and then sort of the next 3 brothers wanted to sort of follow in their footsteps and do the same thing, and then it sort of got to me, and it was a no-brainer to get into T-ball. And the brother that's 2 years above me, once he finished T-ball and got into Little League Baseball, I would play on a weekend, T-ball, go straight from my game, get changed in the car and go play baseball. So
Wow.
for me, it was getting into baseball at an earlier age than I probably
Yeah.
should have. But
How old are you when you're doing this?
I'm not sure what the age of T-ball is, but I think under 12s is the start of baseball. So
Okay.
sort of between 10 and 12. So I would have been, sort of 7, 8 years old, playing a T-ball game in the morning with sort of my age group, and then getting in the car with mum, going up there and sort of getting there right on game time and playing with sort of kids 2 years 2 years older than me. And sort of just gave me that early exposure of, what it's like playing against older people, because obviously once you get to a certain age, you're playing against, grown men who could be 20 years older than you, could be 10 years younger than you, but, they could be 10 times better than you.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I guess that early exposure just sort of gave me an advantage growing up, and sort of made me mature a little bit quicker to know that, you're going to play against people older than you and better than you, and it's just the way it is.
That's nuts. So you're playing 2 games. Did you find the change up different, like between T-ball and baseball?
What's the difference?
when
other
it's
than the
literally
tee?
like an hour?
Yeah, so T-ball, obviously, you have the tee. When you get to bases, you can't obviously have a lead off, which is normally taking a couple steps off the base. And then once the pitcher throws the ball, you can either try and steal the next base or go back to the base you're on. So, for me, going from T-ball, being my own age group, and then having that privilege to go play baseball, you learn a lot of things quickly. So when I sort of finished T-ball and had my first year of baseball in my age group, I'd already played 2 years of baseball pretty much. And I still remember now getting changed in the car and being, 9 years old and being the most nervous kid ever, and going there and literally shitting myself every time I got at the bat.
Yeah,
because
okay, right.
These kids, and at that, well, I look at it now, they don't throw very hard, but for me back then it was like,
Yeah, it's all relative.
these things are like bullets. They come at me so hard, and I used to get scared at every ball that used to come to me, and I don't think any baseballer is going to tell you the truth if they say they weren't getting scared.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to go from T-ball to baseball when it's your own age group, but to do it, like you're already at a bit of a learning curve.
Because you're just getting into it.
Yeah, but to be doing it already against people who have done it before and who are older than you, just adds such another element to it.
Yeah, it does. And like, you see these days, you see kids that play sports, and you go down and watch an Oz kick, or you watch an under 12s footy game, and they say that kid's 11, but he's looks at 18 years old.
Yeah.
So, and that's the same thing with baseball. You go down there and you'd play against a team who the pitcher was, looked like a 21-year-old man, and I go up there and I'm 12 years old. And I'm like, this is not going to be fun.
Getting
you
your
know?
mum to do your shoelaces.
Yeah. I'll sit this one out.
And when you started doing baseball when you were that young, were you just absolutely smoking the T-ball? Like, was that so much easier in comparison?
Yeah, like it was. It was always hard going into baseball because obviously T-ball, the ball's sitting there, it's not moving. You'd go into baseball and then, you'd get that feel of being able to hit the ball without it being on a tee. So it's a good feeling. And then obviously when you go back to T-ball again, you sort of have that advantage, and you can sort of start seeing for yourself. You start hitting the ball a little bit further, a little bit harder. Start to get a little bit stronger, and then obviously when I had that experience of baseball, going into baseball for my first year with no T-ball, it was like I'd already had 2 years experience, and it wasn't easy. It's never been easy, but it was sort of a bit more of an advantage that I'd done it before, and I've, played against people that are better than me, that are older than me, that I got to my age group, and it was like, you know, feel like you can hit every ball.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember the first or the worst hit you've had while batting? Like if the pitcher's thrown at you and it's clocked you.
The worst ones
The
happen
fear
a
has
lot.
to
So
strike. The fear has to strike from somewhere.
yeah, it does. I mean, being like, and you're always going to get hit. And you know, I coach kids and I give lessons to kids, and you know.
Do you have any padding on? Do you have like?
So normally,
ribs?
I wear one on my ankle, so on the inside of my ankle, but that's for when I hit the ball, so it doesn't hit straight into my ankle.
Okay.
And then I normally wear one on my elbow, just so I don't get hit in the elbow. But no, even now there's still fear. Like some of the games on the weekend, some of our imports were throwing 96 to 99 miles an hour, and it's not going to tickle if it hits you. So you always have that fear, but it's just that competitiveness. You've got to go in there, and if you do it long enough, you know that you're going to get hit. I've been hit in the face, I've been hit in the mouth, I've been hit elbows, ribs, everything like that. And as much as it hurts, you've just sort of got to brush it off and go do it again.
Yeah.
And when you get hit in the face, it's different to cricket because you're wearing like a grill. Like if you get hit in the face in cricket when you're batting, you get hit in the helmet. With baseball, it only covers a very select element of your face.
Yeah, you hope if it does come, it's going to hit you in the helmet. But
Yeah.
if it sort of misses your helmet, you're in trouble.
And for reference, 96 miles per hour is 155 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
That's almost 1.5. Well, it is 1.5. You're on the freeway.
And it's pace because like, especially even with cricket, like they measure your cricket bowling and shit.
Yep.
But that's before it bounces.
Yeah.
And it takes off a lot of pace when it's bounced. And you also get to see it bounce. Where in baseball, the thing's like hooping around and coming at 95 clicks.
Floating.
Yeah. When you do hit, like,
Is it a
because
fluke?
obviously the ball's coming so fast, you
gotta
can't
be
be like,
Oh, here we go.
like how much are you watching it, and how much are you just sort of
How much you
having a swing?
Yeah, how much you playing compared to how much you just going for it?
Yeah.
Well, like you do see a lot of swings and misses, and that's
Yep.
because there's a lot of different pitches. A lot of pitches they'll go straight. A lot of pitches they'll curve right to left. A lot of pitches they'll change speed. So normally, sort of an average pitcher, you could say their pitches can be anywhere between sort of 80 miles an hour to on the weekend 96 miles an hour. So a lot of times, if you're saying to yourself, "This is going to be 96 right down the middle," and you swing and it's 80, you're probably not going to hit it.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of guessing, but there's just so much with technology these days that a lot of times you know what pitch they're going to throw in certain counts. So, if they throw the first one for a ball, the next one's going to be, their fast ball, and it's going to be, hopefully a strike. So you get ready to swing, but you don't have much time to sort of watch, and then go, okay, I'm going to swing now. So it is a lot of guessing, and you see that a lot. And, it's okay to do in baseball because, if they do throw that pitch that you do swing at, it's, 9 times out of 10, you're going to hit it hard somewhere, and that's what you really want to do. And
what sort of element of control do you have over hitting the ball? When the ball's coming that quick and the field's set as it is, how confident are you that you can know where to place the ball once it comes? Yeah, once it comes off the bat.
I guess it's hard to explain. So you don't really know where you want to hit the ball. You have a general idea, but a lot of stuff you do with your swing mechanics, stuff you do at training and things like that, you have a general idea of where you want to hit the ball. But in baseball, they talk about barreling the ball. So you want to hit the ball right in the middle of the sweet spot, like cricket. And if you sort of hit it in the general area you want, a lot of times than not, you're going to hit it either past a fielder or over a fielder. So it's just the stuff that you do for training and the way your swing mechanics work help with different pitches and what you can do with the ball.
Unreal. And what about like reading, what do they call it? Reading cues? Is that what they call it? And like you're trying to read what the pitcher's about to do. It's a bit like poker.
Yeah, I mean,
can you read what the bloke's about to
by
throw?
their leg movement? Like, because you know how
so
they do
yeah, some people do it. Obviously, a lot of pitchers practice to keep everything very similar.
Yeah.
Just so you're not giving away sort of tricks to that pitch that batters can pick up on. So you do try and find those small things. Now these days with technology, you see Major League Baseball games before they hit, they'll have an iPad and it's the pitcher with every single pitch that they throw, and they're watching it. And then once you get into the box and you start hitting again, you sort of have an idea of what he might throw on this pitch or that pitch, and then it becomes a lot easier. But a lot of times it is a guessing game and you don't know what they're going to throw.
There you go. This makes it even more complicated.
Yeah.
Even tougher.
Yeah,
It's already hard enough as is. You almost need to go, all right, this one's fastball coming up. Good luck, Sam.
Yeah. Even if you do know, you still miss it.
Yeah, exactly. And what, are you a bit of a base stealer yourself? Are you... Because there was some,
Nah.
there's some athletic dudes out there the other night, and they're moving with a bit of pace and a bit of gusto, and they're not afraid to dive at a base.
Yeah. Nah,
That's
yeah.
not you.
No, that's not me. I try to hit it over the fence and I can take as slow as I want running around the bases.
Yeah,
But no, we do have this year. We do have a few guys on our team that can run. We call them base burners or good base runners.
Okay.
They try and sneak sort of bases when they can, and
Yep.
sort of the philosophy in baseball is the closer you can get to home plate, sort of the easier it is for the batter. And
Yep.
a lot of batters, they would rather be hitting with a runner at third base than at first base.
Yeah,
'cause
makes
it's,
sense.
You know, it's only one base they get to get home on a hit. So, yeah, there's a lot of strategies on ways to sort of sneak bases and steal bases. But if you have a few guys that know how to do it, it becomes a lot easier, especially if they're in front of you batting.
That's sick. And so you played for Perth now for 10 years.
Yep.
How did your career go from playing the T-ball baseball combo to building your way up to going, you know what, T-ball's not for me. I'm just gonna play. I'm just gonna play for the Perth Heat instead.
Yeah, so this year, but this series specifically was my 10th year with the Heat. And, it was always something I wanted to do. Like
Yep.
my older brothers had done it for years, and I used to, go with mum to the games and sit there, and you'd see all the kids playing at the back and throwing the ball and running around, and I would sit in my chair, sit in the seat next to mum for 9 innings and watch every single pitch, and I was obsessed with it. Like, I would wake up in the mornings. If I wasn't playing, I would put my gear on. I would stand in front of the mirror as a kid, sort of like what kids do with footy these days, and go down to the park, throw, hit, everything with my brothers. And then I still remember now, Perth Heat games used to finish, and I used to go down there, see my brothers, and I was like, man, I want to do this one day. And then, could do it one day, and then it's just been a dream ever since, and it's
Unreal.
been awesome, man. It's a second family, and it's just such a good vibe down there, and that's why we've been so successful, is because just the culture of the Perth Heat's insane. So
Yeah, so how old were you when your first brother started playing for the Perth Heat?
what I was.
You've stumped him.
You can ballpark it.
I would have
Pun
been.
intended.
I would have been about 11 or 12 years old, I think.
Okay, cool.
It's
And-
cool to be wanting to do it for so long, at such a young age.
And I used to be the bat boy, so the kid that would stand in the dugout,
Yeah.
and they would hit the ball. I'd run out there, grab the bat,
Yeah,
and
cool.
run back. And I used to sit in there, and I used to put one of the players' helmet on that was just way too big.
Oh.
I used to steal people's batting gloves, put them on, run out there and get the bats, pretend I was a player, swing
That's
the
so
bat.
Yeah.
cute.
Swing the bat, thinking I wonder if everyone here thinks I'm a player. And I was 12 years old, and it's
Yeah.
I just think it was just that obsession with the sport, and it was something that I always wanted to do, and then got the opportunity, and ever since then it's been the best thing ever. It's something you look forward to every summer.
Yeah.
Even just going down to training is the best thing ever. No one likes training, so yeah, I've loved it, and Perth Heat's been second family for me, and it always will be.
That's it. You're genuinely living your dream, which is just unreal.
Yeah.
At what age did you realize that it was sort of going to become your trajectory? You were going to play for the Heat. Birth.
No, sort of when I got into baseball from T-ball, watching my brothers do it, I was always down there, so I knew what it was sort of going to take to play with the Perth Heat.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way they trained, the way that how game day went. I would go down with my brothers on game day and go through the whole warm up, the whole batting practice, everything like that. And I thought, I can do this, one day. And I think it got to sort of 13, 14 where I was playing in national tournaments, and then you have these scouts from Major League Baseball teams coming to watch you play, and it sort of hits you that this can become something that you've always wanted to do. And when I was 16, I was playing in a national tournament in New South Wales, and had a few offers to go play with major league organisations. And
16.
Yeah,
What's that? Year 10.
Year 10, yeah, and
And you went? Did you not?
Yeah, so I went to this national tournament and had a decent tournament, and then
How was school? What'd you do with school?
so I ended up finishing school, I wasn't the best in school, so I did have the option to.
They didn't even realize he wasn't there.
Yeah, I did have the option to drop out of school and go straight over it. So 16 and 6 months is the cutoff date of when you can sign a contract. So they can talk to you, deals, teams, and everything like that. But once you turn 16 and 6 months is when they can start offering you these things.
So they can groom you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So,
to
and then, so I finished high school and then went over at 16 and 17 before having my first full season at 18 or just before 18. So, I don't know a certain point in my life where I was like, I want to go play professionally in the States or I want to go play with the Perth. I think it was just once I knew my brothers were there, it was like, this is all I always wanted to do. And whether it happened or not, it was going to take care of itself, but it was always a dream.
Because that was at the Pirates when you went to America? Yeah. And your brothers, were they already playing there? Is that right?
Yeah, so all three of them. Josh, who's 2 years above me, he signed a few months before me with the Cincinnati Reds. So he went over straight away. He'd already graduated high school. He was going to go to college and then had the opportunity to go play professionally. So he said, why not? And then the two older ones, Matt and Tim, Matt signed with the Atlanta Braves and Tim signed with the Philadelphia Phillies, and they both signed at 16 as well. So we'd always go there for holidays. So mum and dad would go over. Me and Josh would go over. We would go through the major league clubhouses, the minor league clubhouses, watch them play for, a month on holidays. And it was like, this is the best thing ever.
What is the,
That's so cool.
Because obviously like, basketball is pretty like tall, skinny. Footy players are a bit more like shorter, stout. What is like the baseball body? Because you're quite tall and stout. Is there difference between?
There's not many tall, skinny baseball players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
the arm strength.
baseball has a huge variety of different players the way that they look. Like obviously, like basketball, you have to be a certain way. Football, you have to be a certain way. Baseball, it's weird, man. Like sometimes the shortest, stockiest bloke is the fastest person on your team, and the tallest, lankiest person is the slowest person on your team. So everyone's different. A lot of the pitches.
Is there a lot that goes into like maintaining the body though? I guess that would be a better question because like obviously the AFL body is like crucial to performance. Is it similar in baseball or is it a bit more laissez-faire?
I think baseball is a bit more laid back than most other sports. There's not so much a diet side of it, but it's more so, like I was saying before, your body maintenance and making sure you can play every day. And they say if there's a bit more meat on the bone, you can get through 6 months of a baseball year than not having too much meat on you.
Baseball's a lot more like technique rather than just like brute strength or like
aerobic
like
running
that.
ability.
Yeah, it is. And there's good runners in baseball, but there's probably a lot more that aren't so good at running than not. And
they make up for it in other ways.
Yeah, and it's more so about like first step explosiveness in baseball, because that's really what it is. In your fielding positions, it's that first step has to be sort of the most crucial step of fielding a ball, and same with hitting. You hit the ball, and then that first step to obviously take off has to be. And
cleanliness, I'd say almost concentration's up there as well, because like when the balls are coming at you, even if it's like a ground ball or it's bounced like a handful of times, like if you're not clean in being able to react to the ball and then get yourself in a decent technical position to pick it up and throw.
Yeah.
Like and you're really at the detriment of your team. Where in footy, I know a lot of footballers who just get by on like gut running, and vice versa. Like you could just be like skinny, gut running, and just know where to be in the right position, or you can just be tall, gangly, or strong and just clean people up.
Yeah. Mm.
That's not. Yeah, I think you sort of need to be a little bit more intellectual when it comes to different sports.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, bit of a pivot, but
Here we go.
Is there much like because in like the movies and stuff, you always see like the like hey batter, and like the catchers like talking shit and stuff.
Trash talk.
Does that happen a lot in games?
There is.
A lot from over the fence from the 9-year-olds as well. Man.
Yeah. No, it can. It can get pretty brutal. Like, some of the stuff you hear on the field, it can get pretty bad.
And that's just when the parents come to watch.
Yeah. But a lot of it is what certain players do on field as well. So if there's things that other players don't like, that's something that can be used against them. But I guess it's more so just the respect of the game. If someone sort of disrespects the game, that's when a lot of that shit talk, banter comes into it. And
and what do you mean by disrespecting the game?
Just a lot of unwritten rules that people don't follow that.
What are some big ones that we wouldn't know?
Big ones are like taking out players when you're sliding into a base. A lot of people don't like the bat flip when people hit home runs. I do it, so
Like flip it to yourself.
no. So like obviously when you
Oh,
hit the
yeah.
ball and
then
you
you-
know that's going to go over, they sort of. It's like a competition who
It's
can
like a
throw it
taunt.
the highest. Yeah. It's almost like in cricket if you hit a 6, like just throwing your bat up in the air and like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
letting it
and do
just
people
drop
not like
down.
it just because it's like
Well,
showy or?
I guess if you're a batter, you don't mind it as much. If you're on the fielding side, you hate it just because you hate seeing that sort of stuff. And then if you're a pitcher, you hate it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's off you hate it even more.
Yeah, well, maybe pitch better.
And that. But a lot of times you see it as well where, you know, it's almost like they're showing up the picture and, you know, they hit a home run, they bat flip it, and then the next play will get the very next pitch into the ribs. And it's like,
Yeah, fine.
then that batter gets pissed off at obviously
Yeah.
whoever hit the home run because you don't want to go up there and get hit. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of...
Yeah, I don't think anyone would be more disappointed seeing a bat flip than the next batsman going, fuck, man. Why'd you
Like,
do that?
and it's happened to me before. Like the person in front of me's hit it, and like for the first 10 seconds, I'm like, man, that's impressive. And then he flips his bat, and I'm like, oh, that was probably more impressive. And then I'm like, oh fuck. And
This bruise is
and
gonna
then,
be pretty
I go up,
impressive.
Get
I
me
go up
another
to bat.
pad.
I go up to bat, and I'm just literally just sitting there waiting for it to come and hit me. And it doesn't hit me. I'm like, all right, strike one.
Is there
And then they're waiting for you in the car park.
is there like an unsportsmanlike thing? Like how can you tell when someone's pitching for the body compared to the
Oh,
play?
You can see it coming.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
feel it.
Yeah, but how does the referee determine that's a foul? That's an ejection.
I guess just...
No, you don't get kicked out for throwing a ball. You walk a base.
What if you keep doing it?
Don't you? That's it.
Yeah, if you keep doing it, or I guess it's just the feel of the game. So if a player hits a home run and then, you know, both teams are mouthing off at each other and it becomes a bit heated, and then
Tosses
the
one
next
to his
batter
head.
gets hit,
Yeah.
more times than not, they're just going to get ejected. But
Do you get kicked
You
out?
get straight up.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I've seen a few
so
ejections.
if
Wait,
they
the
if the
pitcher-
umpires think it's on purpose, it's deliberate, they'll throw you out straight away.
Is there because in
Even
basketball-
after
is
hang
there
on,
like a
hang on, we're doing this. Even after a bat flip. So let's say Riley bats, he flips, you step in, and I ping you on.
Yep.
Jake
Surely the
Snell.
umpire's aware that that's likely going to happen the moment he sees the bat do 90 degrees. He goes, oh, well, this next one's coming in.
Yeah, that or you get warnings. But yeah, if it's on purpose, then
Is there such thing as a technical foul, or is it like straight away one and you're out?
no, they give warnings, but it's almost like if one team gets a warning, someone from the other team has to get a warning. So
Okay.
and a lot of times it's two people drawing off at each
Yeah.
other. So two people get warnings, and then
How frequently does that happen
Have you ever gone?
in Perth?
I've gone not for that. I've gone for arguing with umpire.
Okay.
Yeah, what
Bad
what
call.
mistake did they make?
Yeah. Still hold a grudge today. But arguing with an umpire, like everyone argues, umpires with any sport, you know what it's
Yeah,
like.
yeah, of
It's,
course.
they're never, I'm not going to say they're never good, but they're never perfect all the time. So, you know, there's a lot of arguments, but if you carry on and you keep going, and then language sometimes comes into it, and
Yeah.
that's the way you can get ejected from games. But some umpires just, they don't take anything, and as soon as you say something, you're gone. So
Yeah.
Is there like a fining process? Like, what's the repercussion other than the fact that you can't play anymore?
it depends. Like arguing with an umpire, you're out just for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And then obviously to the extent of how you go is you can get certain weeks for it, fined for it.
Okay.
The only time I've ever actually been ejected, I actually got a week for it.
Okay.
So
What'd you do?
Yeah, what'd you do?
that was
You
just
can't say that and then
just-
not talk
yeah.
about it.
just arguing with an umpire. I was at a local game and just arguing balls and strikes, and of course I wasn't wrong, but yeah. Lucky there was no video. I was like, didn't have to look back, and it probably was a strike. But yeah, said a few nice words and then ended up getting a week for it, and
Must
almost
have
got
been a few nice words.
yeah, and then try to sit at the back of the dugout and watch the rest of the game, and then got told to move on and
Right.
shower and
Oh.
get in your car and go. So
Early night.
yeah. No, I'm Mr. Nice Guy in the field, so I've only ever had the one, but a lot of guys have had multiple.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
don't have a very good track record with umpires.
And how do the brawls work? Do any happen? You've obviously played international, which we'll get to in a sec. In Perth, is there any ever a throwdown?
Yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah, I was surprised.
How
to
many
hear
refs are there compared? Like, there's like a fair few players.
So normally it's 3. Sometimes they have 4 during like a bit more important games, just so that they control the game a bit better.
Because it's a lot to watch.
Yeah, and it's almost like each umpire has their base.
You got one on first, one on third, and then
and there's normally one sort of in the middle or behind second base in the outfield. And it just makes sure that umpires aren't seeing plays from too far of a distance. So, we've had a couple of brawls, and I wouldn't say they're fun to be in, but it's always like, where do you go and what do you do? And it's like, go the opposite side of your mate if he's on that team because you don't want to fight him. And then
so I would run straight to my mate, mainly because I'm a bitch, and I just grab him and be like, you don't hit me, I don't hit you. Just pretend.
But no, we've had a few with players getting hit, especially after like home runs. There used to be a rule where when players on the field used to turn double plays, used to like ground balls, you throw the ball to second base, you're getting out, and then trying to get the ball to first base to get them out. You can slide into the person at second base to try and sort of take them out so they can't throw the ball to first. And that would cause shit all the time. Like you'd slide, take them out, and now there's a new rule where you pretty much can't make contact with them to stop all that. But
and is there technique with, because obviously you've got the ball, you've got the bat, you've got the helmet, you've got weapons.
When the brawls take place.
Like, at what point do we go, all right, helmets are off?
Normally it's helmets off straight away.
Yeah, normally
that's sort of the
but
moment.
Do they get thrown or they get dropped and we're like toe to toe?
Normally your bat gets dropped. I wouldn't
Good
bring
call.
it back.
Yeah.
The pitcher's got a glove and you've got a bat. It's like,
Yeah, because I
who's
always
gonna
feel
win
like
here?
with like cricket, there's very rarely fights because two people there have a bat and everyone else is like, oh, okay.
So normally
Well played.
you see it all the time now. It's they drop their bat. A lot of times they drop their helmet, but I don't know if you've seen the last couple of years, but a lot of the batters, they'll try and throw their helmet at the pitcher and then fight them. But yeah, normally it's hands on hands, and I wouldn't say they're crazy. They get broken up pretty quickly
By coaching staff?
Yeah, coaching staff, other players as well. But a lot of the times it sort of stops before players start sort of making contact.
Yeah, it's
with each
hard
other
because
and
like obviously it's big pitch and you got to walk up to them before you start fighting. So there's like
time.
And a lot of times,
lag.
if you know what's coming, everyone's on the top step from both dugouts. And as soon as it happens, they're out there before they sort of get to each other. So you just hope that you can grab the person or he's not bigger than you, that he just gets away from you, because then it gets pretty embarrassing.
When was the last one at Perth?
I'd like to say the last one was a few years ago now. I think it was actually at Perth Stadium, and I don't know who we were playing, but the guy slid into second base, took out a player, and sort of both teams were in there, and that was probably the worst I've seen. There was a few punches thrown, a few bloody faces and sore knuckles, and
what happens after that? Everyone just goes back to their respective teams.
Back to their teams, and then there's always shit talk between teams after that, and there still is now between teams that probably had fights years and years ago. And the banter and I guess the shit talking is always going to happen in baseball. Yeah. And it even happens now with you get people that have come over from different countries that come and play in Australia, and they play a way where not a lot of Australians like the way they play. So you get a lot of sort of back and forth chatter about those sort of things, but it never turns into anything that's sort of too bizarre. So
huge. So should we expect one this year? Is that?
I'll tell you what game.
Sam's got a pigeonholed. Fantastic. Okay, let's discuss the international career.
Yep.
How was it? Obviously, playing in Perth, we're a pretty small place by anyone's standard, let alone Australian standard. When you move over to America, or when you play, because you played in the Netherlands, you were saying you played in, was it Japan as well? Mexico?
No, so I played in Korea, Mexico, Colombia, pretty much all through the States, all through Australia, and it's been a job my whole life. And it's taken me around the world, and
so you get paid to do that, I imagine.
Yeah, yep. So it's all paid. Obviously, all your travel and everything's taken care of.
Yep.
Sometimes you do get pretty shitty flights, but
you're not
it's not coming out of your own pocket. Yeah, you're not going to complain. So, I've been very, very fortunate to be able to travel the world and do it.
Where's your favourite place that you've played? Aside from Perth, obviously.
First number one. But, all through the States is...
So what state did you play in?
So our training facility was in Florida. So that was where we would sort of meet every year, was where our spring training was, which was like pre-season. we would play spring training games, so sort of like NAB Cup games, I guess,
okay.
for footy. And then that's for about a month, and then obviously you break up and you play in every city.
Yep.
So the minor leagues is made up of normally about 6 teams, and they're all in different cities before you get to the major leagues, and you travel more times than you're at your own pretty much.
Yep.
city.
Yeah, okay.
So you might play 4 games in your hometown, go on the road, play 4 games, go to the next city, play 4 games, come back for 4 games, and then you're back on the road again.
Yep.
So there's a lot of travel, a lot of hotels, living out of your suitcase, eating IHOP at 3 in the morning after a game, and things like that. So it's a grind, and it's hard. It's physically draining. It's mentally draining. You have a break during the middle of the year, and these Americans, they're 2 hours from their home state, so they drive or fly home. They see family.
Yeah. Okay.
And then for the international players, they've just got to find somewhere to go for 4 or 5 days while you have a break, and you don't get to see family for however long. So you sort of build these good bonds with players wherever you go, and that's sort of your family for 6 months while you're away.
That's nuts. The timelines for them are obviously different to when you play in Perth. So you play seasons in these international places usually between let's say March
Yeah, so
through to about now before the Perth season starts?
well, the Major League Baseball finished about a week ago, 2 weeks ago today. And then obviously if you don't make the finals, it's about a month before that.
Yep.
So it's sort of 6-7 months you're away from home, and then I used to come back here, have about a week or 2 of just not touching a baseball, and then straight back in it with the Perth Heat.
Yeah.
So
Is that full on?
it is. It
Yeah.
is. Obviously you get a little bit more downtime with the Perth Heat. It's, like today, like you could wake up, you can do what you want, and then Tuesday we train at night, Wednesday we train at night. So you have the whole day to sort of do what you want to do.
Yep.
And it's a bit more laid back than sort of a US schedule, but then come, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's like,
Builds up again.
get to the field early afternoon, and then you're there till midnight almost, and it's doing that for 4 days straight. And then you sort of get to enjoy that Monday of just sort of recovering, and then you do it all again. So it is a bit more laid back and a lot less full on than a baseball season in the States. But obviously you're doing it in your hometown. You get to go home, your own bed, your own family.
Yep.
So it just makes it a whole lot easier.
And with COVID, I imagine a lot of the international stuff would have come to a bit of a halt.
Yeah, so the very start of COVID was the last time that the Australian Baseball League was going.
Yep.
Perth was actually very unfortunate with how our travel went. So when was it? 3 years ago now, 2 years ago now, we had supposed to have a series in Melbourne. Supposed to be 4 days, 3 days, 4 day trip of 4 games, but in 3 days.
Yeah.
And then we get there, day 1 outbreak, so we can't go home to Perth. Close the borders, can't go home to Perth. So it's like, where can we go? We can fly to Brisbane. So we flew to Brisbane. A couple other teams flew in Brisbane. We had a hub in Brisbane.
Okay.
And it's like 3 weeks in Brisbane. We're playing there for 3 weeks, and then it's like, where can we go from here? Adelaide, and it's like another 3 weeks in Adelaide. So this 4 day trip turned into, a couple of months trip when guys are packing for 4 days. So like, you open your suitcase, you got a pair of undies in there for 2 months. You're like, oh man, this sucks. So and that's what it was. But honestly, those 2 months were some of the best days I've ever had in my life. Like we'd wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, we'd be playing poker because what else? And we couldn't leave the hotel, so it was like, what else can we do?
You just got to embrace the chaos that is.
Yeah, you do. And it sucked, and like you don't see family, you don't see girlfriends and wives and kids and stuff like that, and it was the way it was to try and get out of the season. And we ended up making it to the playoff game, championship game, and we lost. But I think we had the toughest out of them all.
Oh, dead set.
Brisbane were at their hometown, Adelaide were at their hometown, Melbourne were at their hometown, and we were sort of on the road and
just hopping from
staying
one to the next.
in hotels, and then guys were having to take time off work and not see families and things like that, and then having to come back and quarantine for 2 weeks. It was like bang, there you go.
Yeah. It's not very flash, is it? When you do, are you finished international, or is the plan to continue with international?
Yeah, so obviously with national teams and stuff coming up, being available for them, but yeah, definitely international baseball is done for me now. And
When did you make that decision?
probably during COVID. I spent a year or 6 months in the Netherlands playing, and then came back right before COVID, and then spent 6 months in Melbourne playing in the winter. And then that was when COVID hit, and then it was just where I was at with sort of how old I was, and then not being able to play for so long. It was like, what can I do now? And it was just the time frame was just the timing of it was bad, and it was, you know, what I want to do. And I hadn't spent much time in Perth, so it was, you know, stay here, see friends and family, and you miss out on so much. It was like, you know, I've done more in the last probably 12 months than I did 6 years before that, traveling the States.
Yeah, true. That's pretty full on. And so that's it.
That's it.
He's hanging up the boots.
Yeah, the Perth heat now, and try and improve my golf game, which won't happen. But it's been good because then, you know, I missed out on the footy years. Every year I went to the States. So I'd leave in March.
That sucks.
And then, I'd get back and, you know, I would be watching the AFL Grand Final at 6 a.m. over in America. And then, and then now it's like I go to as many games as I want.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good point.
You know, I got to go down south and watch, you know, the Grand Final with mates and stuff like that. And it's something I'd never done because I was 15 when the last time I did it. And
wow, you do miss out on a lot. Like you don't really
you do.
think about how much the sacrifice is, because at the end of that, like you're doing your dream and you're playing baseball internationally, which is fucking sick. Yeah. But the other side of that coin is exactly what you said.
You do.
You do
miss out on weddings and like I missed out on, you know, births of nieces and nephews and things like that. So, like I said, it's mentally it's draining sometimes. Yeah. But I think I'm just so obsessed with baseball that it was like, it didn't bother me. Well, obviously it did bother me, but it wasn't, you know, something where I was like, man, I just can't do it anymore. You know? And if I was still in a position now where I would go back over there and play, I would probably do it in a heartbeat. Yeah.
No, that's sick. Cool. And what is like the average age of a baseballer? Like how long could your career possibly be at Perth? Because how old's your brother?
He's 34 this year. Yeah, 34.
Yeah, I'd want to know that.
You
have missed a few birthdays.
We'll edit in you saying it really.
If you guys can edit in his real age, that'd be perfect.
And he's still dominating. He's the captain of Perth at the moment.
Captain of Perth, captain of the national team, and he's.
Does he have any sway?
Well,
he will always look after you. Like you're not going to miss the team or anything.
No, not in that way. I mean, I'll get probably that constructive criticism a bit more, but he's always there. Like when we go on the road trips and stuff, he's the first one to help out if things aren't going right.
Yep.
Even when we're at home, like he'll message me, let's go down early and let's go hit.
That's nice.
So he's the first one to jump on board if sort of he sees something or if, you know, something's going right, he would want me down there just to make sure that I'm still doing it right. And he's mid-30s and, you know, I think he's still going to go a few more years. Yeah. I think he keeps telling himself that he wants to play until his boys playing, that they can.
Wow, LeBron James
play in a local. He's still a few more years off that, but I mean the way he's going, I think he can still do it.
How old's your son?
5 this year.
Okay,
just
cool.
About to turn 5.
So what, he's got 11 more years to follow in his uncle's footsteps.
Yeah, everyone says he's like fine wine. He's getting a bit better.
Well, you wouldn't know that he's 34.
Yeah. So and he's the ultimate professional. He's looked after himself.
Yep.
You know, more than anyone I've ever seen. And
is he the oldest in the team?
Yes, he would be up there.
Yep.
Yes, I believe he is the oldest, or he's the second oldest.
And is your plan to continue and play to his age?
I think.
Then some?
I don't think I'm ever going to fall out of love with the sport. I'll probably play it until I probably can't get out of bed anymore. So.
Sick. And you're not going to change your number?
Nah, 24.
Good, because we've got the jersey now. So you're like, it's done, man. I'm like, next week, not going to wear it anymore.
Where'd you get 24 from?
That was the number I'd got given. So I'd always worn number 7 in juniors growing up. That was like a family number. So my brother wore 7 playing footy, and then we obviously started wearing it down. Tim wore
that's so cool.
23. So he's always worn 23. His wife was born on the 23rd day of the month. So that's why. So that's a bit of a love story.
How long have they been?
So they were together since before he went to the States. So she's grinded it out as long as he has with the travel and everything like that. So,
and that's why he chose 23?
Yeah. And then, 24 was just the first jersey.
Just one up.
I've
just
got.
went, fuck yeah. One better than you.
And like, there's so many good baseball players that have worn 24 that I was like, you know, why not? And sort of become my own. And now local baseball and sort of every team I play in, I try and get 24, and I think it's a pretty good number, sort of worldwide in sports.
Yeah. That's sick. And so national team. What's the story?
So
How many years is it every year?
no, so it's sort of different every year. They have different tournaments every year. So I've played in 2 under 18s national tournaments, 2 under 23s tournaments, an under 12s little league tournament, and then I jumped across the river and played with New Zealand not long ago.
All right, and that brings us to the end. Another bit.
Yeah, so the New Zealand national team had asked me.
Are you allowed to do that? Were you got joint citizenship?
Yeah, so mum and dad were born there, and majority of our family were born there. So
Cool.
Oh, that's cool that you got to play with them.
yeah, so it's something that had been asked for years and years for me to do, and obviously Australia had always been my number one priority.
Yeah.
And we had a World Baseball Classic qualifier in Panama last month, and they'd sort of asked me if I wanted to join, and I was sort of on the brink of the Australian national team, and sort of said, why not? It could be my last time playing internationally, so I went over to Panama and played, and we didn't qualify, unfortunately, but it was just, the experience was ridiculous.
That's sick. And so what you're playing for Australia again this year? That's the plan?
No, so a couple more years before I can play again. So it's I guess it's like a 4-year block of when you can't play. So
Get suspended because you played for New Zealand. Is that right?
sort of, I wouldn't say it's
Fair enough. I'd make it longer.
But it was just something where obviously my international career was probably coming to a stop, and it was sort of a last hurrah for internationally, and just the experience and the level of baseball I was ridiculous, and it was it's something that I've always wanted to do and had the opportunity. So I said, why not? And now obviously back in Perth, that can focus on Perth Heat every year and go from there.
So you're exclusively just a Perth Heat player from here on out. That's it?
Them and the Braves Baseball Club, which is a local team. So
Yeah, cool. Nice.
give them a shout out.
Where are they?
So their field's in Hammond Park. So they've always been down in Willagee.
Okay.
And they've just moved fields to Hammond Park. So that's the team that I've played my first ever baseball game with.
Yep.
My whole family's involved. My mum's a scorer.
Huge.
My dad's the coach.
Oh, here we go. Now when are you getting games?
We put our hand up sometimes and volunteer to do the canteen on a Sunday morning and
Nice.
things like that. So it's a childhood club we've always played at.
Are you like royalty? Is your family royalty down there or what?
Nah, not me. The rest of them. But it's
Mum in particular.
Yeah, my best mates. They've grown up playing. I've played with them for however many years I've been playing baseball. So you go down there, and it's sometimes during the Perth Heat season, it's the only time you get to catch up with them. Really.
Yeah, okay.
So no, I love it down there, and it's a good bunch of guys, and it's the only time I really get to play with all 4 of my brothers without where we can just go down there. We go an hour, 2 hours before the game, and it's a bit more fun and relaxed, and you can sort of let your hair down a little bit and not take it as seriously
That's
as you
so
do.
cool.
And it's to be able to play with my brothers is it's pretty cool.
That's unreal. And they all 4 or 5. You've got 4 brothers.
So 4 brothers. So me and the 3 other ones. The
Still
oldest
play.
one doesn't play anymore, but the 3 other ones play. And I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago now. It was the first time all 4 of us had played in the same game, same lineup.
And do they all still play for the Braves?
Yeah, they'll still play. One brother's he's living down in Busselton, so he's just going to come up and sort of play when he can. And
So there will be a chance that all 5 of you will play.
no, so the 5th one here, so he doesn't play anymore. So
Why
one
not?
of them,
Get him back. We want to see all 5.
we've been trying to for years, but he's got his family, and I think his shoulder might fall off.
Where does he live? Does he live in Perth?
Yeah, they're all in Perth except one of them. So
Okay.
we might have
So
to
we could start
dust off the old
we
glove
could
and
start
get
a
him
little
down.
thing.
Yeah.
That's it. Because what? There's 9. Is there not? This is testing my intellect. This is
9
what I
batters. 9 batters in the lineup.
So if you had
Half the team, yeah.
more than half the team, you'd have to change the name, wouldn't you? No, we got the
get
the
shit for
Kennelly
that.
baseball team walking out
We
with
get
4
shit for that.
spares.
Yeah.
That's huge.
But yeah, it's
Make
good,
it
like,
happen. That'd be huge.
It's just the club we've always been involved in. Like, mum goes down and scores.
Get her into bat.
games.
Get her into bat.
Yeah, she can be the 6th player. But she scores games that we don't even play in, and it's
Well,
like
that's cool.
She loves it, and they're both life members, and we're pushing for life membership soon. So
Yeah, well, you fucking
shout out
own, you
when
own
they're
the
little
place.
kids. Yeah. But yeah, they're only a couple minutes down the road now in Hammond Park, and new facility there. So yeah, it's a cool little
Sick.
setup.
I like it.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
I love that you can play internationally. You can play in the Netherlands. You can play in like Mexico. You can play in America, and then you still go back and play like local league just with your brothers. It's humbling. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is. And like, there's been times where, you know, me and my brother, we played over in Korea together, and we played on the Australian national team, and then, you know, we come back on a Friday, and then the Sunday we're in Rockingham playing local baseball against one of the teams. So it's like, obviously polar opposite sides of the world, and you know, it's still the game of baseball, and yeah, it's something that we love doing it, and we're always going to keep playing until we can't play anymore, I think.
We love that. That's fantastic. Alrighty, boys. Obviously, fantastic. I'm intrigued by the level of insight that I've gained already. I'm a student of the game, and wow, I feel like I've just sat through like a proper lecture.
Yeah, like a masterclass.
And yeah, genuine. I feel this is sick. I love it. I love it so much. All right, now the next game. We're gonna play a game. We play a game with every single guest we have here on the MacPack podcast. The game is usually somewhat themed around the person we have here on the pod.
Yep.
Obviously, Sam. I don't know if anyone's. If you failed to listen to the first hour, if you haven't picked up on what's going on, Sam plays baseball. So we're going to play a baseball themed game. Riley, you were too busy. Normally, everyone records the little intro music we do. Yes. Riley's been too busy, the prick. So me and Joe went to town, and we have recorded a game of our own.
What's the game called?
What do we call it? No, we did this whole brainstorming thing. What's it called?
Night Out or Strikeout?
That's it. That's exactly what it's called. This is some of our best work here. Yeah.
Are we out at a ball game, or are we out with the boys? Can I buy a hot dog or bottle of Jack's? Are we at the ballpark, or will my mates yak? You'll guess about the title. Is it a bar or team name? For it's Jake, Joe, and Junior's idea of a baseball game.
Bravo.
Thank you.
I might have to steal that for my walkout song.
Oh, please don't. All right, so the game, unless you were unable to pick it up, we've got different team names or their club/bar names internationally. They've got they're pretty vague, and we've written up a few little stories about what they could be, and you guys need to guess if they are in fact a baseball team name or if they are a bar/club name. Listening to Sam chat to us for the last hour or so, we've worked out that there's a fair chance that not only has Sam will know these, he may have fucking played for them. So let's see how we go. I will kick things off. Firstly, this is going to be a layup. So I'm going to ask the question. You just need to write down if it's a team name or if it's a club name. Understood?
Yep.
And then we'll give you the answers on the spot, and then we'll move on. Yeah?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, this is going to be such... we've obviously done a little bit of research for this. I've done my preparation, and I feel like I might as well get... Sam would be a better host because he would know more of the answers. All right. Firstly, we've got the Nashville Sounds. And Sam is writing down his answer already. Founded in 1978, the Nashville Sounds are a minor league baseball team of the International League and the AAA affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers. They are located in Nashville, Tennessee, and are named for the city's association with the music industry, making them a club name. Or, Riley, because Sam's already got his answer, is it that the Nashville Sounds are actually a raucous destination featuring cocktails, brews, and barbecue meals, plus nightly live music and a rooftop bar that boasts some of the greatest country singers in the land? You'll find this establishment has a great deal of local charm, with all staff providing exactly why it holds its name from that iconic Nashville twang.
I read every post Jake does for the MacPack, so I know
how he writes
and what he has written there.
Okay, what are you boys locking in?
I'm team.
I probably shouldn't have read it straight away because then you probably.
I actually didn't know. I didn't know.
There you go. Yeah, you're both correct. That's a hot start. If Sam doesn't get all of these, I'll be stunned. All right, Joe, take us through the second one.
I won't cheat. Don't worry.
All right, so the next one we have the name is Tokyo Yakult Swallows. So the first option, if it's a team, the Tokyo Yakult Swallows are a Japanese professional baseball team competing in Nippon Professional Baseball Central League. Based in Shinjuku, Tokyo, they are just one of two professional baseball teams based in Tokyo. Or rather, is it that since opening in 2016, Tokyo Yakult Swallows has provided guests with a lively, bright lit back alley bar that specializes in milk fusion drinks and their incredible sake rice wine recipes.
Fuck it.
Is it team or are they a club? Just for reference, it's always team first.
Yeah.
Boys, what have we locked in, Sam?
Team.
Club.
Riley is incorrect. Sam is
Sam is
correct. So
correct.
Sam moves ahead 2-1. You haven't played against them, have you, Sam? They're in
No,
Japan.
I've watched them play before.
Oh, this game is going to be
I just
fucked.
really wanted the milk drinks to come to life.
Yeah, I was surprised that Jake knew what sake rice recipes, rice wine.
I
recipes.
googled them. All right, next up we've got the Orchid Ginzas. All right, established in 2002, the Orchid Ginzas are part of the Western Baseball League in Japan. They are a real powerhouse club, having won 6 championships in their 20 years of existence, with their latest championship coming in 2018. Or is it that the Orchid Ginzas are a Japanese night spot that boasts great cocktails featuring fresh fruit, a really interesting concept and presentation? They possess a very chill and relaxed vibe, and I've even heard that they're very foreign friendly because the bartender speaks good English. Boys, are they a club or are they a team?
Club.
It's got to be a club.
It
Yeah, okay, you're
is a
both
club.
right. Why'd you go with club?
Just never heard of that baseball team.
Okay. It's fair enough.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, Joey, take it away. It's, what is it, 3-1? 3-2. Yeah, it's 3-2.
3-2, yeah.
So Riley, you are
Riley's not doing that
you're
bad.
holding your own here, Riley.
All right, so the next one we've got TNA in San Marino. Founded in 1985, San Marino Baseball Club is a professional domestic baseball club based in San Marino. The team has seen great success in their recent history, collecting European championships in 2006, 2011, 2014. Since August 2021, they have been competing in Series A1, the top tier of Italian baseball. Or is the TNA San Marino, in fact, an understated artisan wood-fire pizza restaurant specializing in Neapolitan pizza plus traditional Italian desserts and boasts an extensive wine list, offering out of their refined contemporary space?
Are the TNA San Marinos a team or a club / bar restaurant establishment? Sam has
What
gone
are we
with
looking in?
Club.
Club.
Riley. That was your
that was your
chance.
chance. It's a team.
They're a team.
Yeah,
They're a
it's
team in Italy, apparently.
Never heard of them.
Neither have I. Okay. This next one are the Charlotte Knights. The Charlotte Knights are a minor league baseball team of the International League and the AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox. They are located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and play their home games at Trust Field, which opened in 2014 and is located in Uptown Charlotte. Or is the Charlotte Knights a cozy laid-back bar established in 2014 that has a delightful speakeasy vibe with a rotating jazz man and a range of specialty cocktails plus beer and wine? Sam?
Team.
Good. Riley?
Team.
Okay, nice.
Ding ding.
Did anyone, you haven't played for Charlotte Knights, have you, Sam?
I haven't, no.
Is anyone you know?
Michael Jordan didn't. He was with the Chicago White Sox at that
Yeah,
organization.
right.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if he
there you
did get the Charlotte Knights or not, but yeah, I've heard of that.
I've heard it's a great speakeasy bar.
All right, next we got
So what's the score? The score is currently...
4-3.
Is it still?
Mm.
Okay, Riley.
Yeah.
Very fair chance to tie things up.
All right, the next one. We got Busan Ben. Founded in 2004, the Busan Bens are a women's baseball team from the WBAK in Korea, which has a very accomplished 8-team league, including my favorite WBAK team, the Incheon Hammerstorm. Or is it true that Bunsan Ben is a music venue located in Bunsan, South Korea, who since their launch has established themselves as a key player in the South Korean underground music scene, inviting top-tier local and overseas DJs and artists to play at their night spot. Incredibly, the Busan Ben also became the first club in the world to become an Apple Music curator.
What does it even mean? Club.
Club.
No, it's a team.
I suck at this game.
That's such a long, extensive wind up. I just assumed it was going to be.
Yeah, I know how to write.
It sounds better as a club.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It is pretty crazy. Now, this one's a little bit of a throwback. This could be interesting. So Riley needs this to tie, and we've never ended on a time. We have no...
We don't have a tie break.
Okay, so Sam, you fucking better get this right. Okay, here we go. This is One Oak Tokyo. Along with the before-mentioned Tokyo Volt Swallows, the One Oaks are the other team competing in the Nippon Professional Baseball Central League. They hold a great deal of pride in the fact that they were the first team established in Tokyo, so much so that once the Swallows joined the league in 2010, the Oaks made an official name change to their team, adding the single-digit 1 to their title for all future merchandise. So basically, they were a little bit too proud about being the number ones, and when the other crew joined, it's about like, imagine West Coast just being like, no, we're number one. We were here first. Or is it based in the main streets of Tokyo? One Oak Tokyo regularly books popular hip-hop artists to perform or DJ live. The women are said to be very beautiful, and the men dress up, and international celebrities often appear in the VIP section. The entire experience is said to feel reminiscent of a New York nightclub, and for that reason, One Oak may not be for everyone, but if you're looking for a top-class international nightclubbing experience, this is meant to be the place to be. Is it a club or is it a team, boys? Sam has gone first.
Club.
Riley?
Go on, team.
It's a draw! Oh my... No, it's not.
it's
It's not. It's not. I was hoping it was that. That's not. Sam has won, and a little bit of a landslide. Riley, you've held your own, which is fantastic. What do we think, boys? Was that crazy or
That was
what?
actually
That's tough.
That was really
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Good
tough.
write-ups.
Thanks, man. Thanks. It was good fun. I still think that the song was the best, so we'll play it to finish.
Are we out at a ball game or are we out with the boys? Can I buy a hot dog or bottle of Jack's? Are we at the ballpark or will my mates yak? You'll guess about the title. Is it a bar or team name? For it's Jake, Joe, and Junior's idea of a baseball game.
All right, boys, we're obviously here with Sam, who is one of 5
Brother-Mingos.
Brother-Mingos. Yes.
Fuck
You don't have any sisters?
No sisters.
Nah.
No boys.
It would be
I
funny
think
if
I
we
was
did
supposed to
and
be
he
the
just
girl.
never mentioned them the whole podcast.
Yeah, I've got 3. They suck at baseball. So we want to know, like, obviously, basically, we've spent the best part of 115 or so episodes just telling stories about being brothers and being shitheads. I imagine coming from a household of 5 boys, all baseball royalty, there'd be a fair few stories. So, Sam, we just want to hear some fucking brother stories.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, you guys know what it's like. You grow up with your brothers, and it's a mess in the house. Like,
Yep.
You know, there's fights as kids. We don't fight anymore as adults. It's just arguments. But no, we were always very outdoorsy kids. So we would always spend majority of the day outside. We would have to be forced to come inside at night as kids, and I think that was just something that mum and dad sort of drilled into us as kids. You had the freedom. You had a backyard, go do what you want. And I think that's why we're so competitive, because we've always done that as kids. And, card games, board games, even now as adults, they go all night. And it doesn't stop until everyone has to be the last winner.
Yeah.
So between all 5 of us, someone has to be the last winner. So they go on forever. And, someone just has to give up for the games to finish. But no, we grew up in Palmyra with a big backyard and pool, so we were in the pool all summer. Even winters we're outside and barefoot and wondering why we're getting sick every second day. There's some good stories. Not so much with me. I think I got looked after a little bit more than the other boys. So, and they were all a bit older, obviously, when I was at a younger age.
Because you're the youngest?
The youngest.
And how old is Matt, the oldest?
No, so Adam's the oldest.
Oh, sorry.
So it's about 11 years between me and the oldest.
Okay, right.
So there's a few years sort of between us.
So run us through it. Adam's oldest.
Tim's the second oldest.
Yep. And how old's
Then
Tim?
Tim's 34.
Okay, yep.
Matt's the middle
Yep.
child. And then Josh is the second youngest, who's 2 years older than me.
Okay, cool.
So,
There you go. And he doesn't play baseball anymore.
So the oldest one, Adam, doesn't.
Okay, the
So
rest.
he was
It's hard
always-
to keep
he
up.
was
You'll get it
always-
I need to
Yeah.
write
So,
this down.
Pretty much the younger 4, we all still play.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, there's a few stories that still, like when we have dinner all together, we bring out all these stories, and dinners go forever because mum and dad have to tell a story about
Everyone,
each one of the
yeah.
sons and each funny thing that each son did. But one that always gets thrown around was the old like look away and take a chip at the dinner table.
Yep.
And it was Matt and Tim when they were younger, and Matt was obviously the younger one, so the boys would pick on him a little bit more and, you know, tell him to look away and steal a chip and look away and steal a chip. And I think Matt got the gist of it pretty quick and grabbed onto the fork from the table, and Tim had sort of told him to turn around, and he turned around and grabbed the chip, and as he sort of turned around, saw Tim's hand in his plate with chips, and Matt's just grabbed this fork and turned around and stabbed him in the arm.
Oh my god.
Right.
Stuck the fork through the arm, and that's the story that gets thrown around
That's
all the
full
time.
on.
But
I was imagining it going it through the chip as a miss
Yeah.
of the chip,
Yeah.
but he's just turned and gone for some genuine assault. That's fair enough.
yeah, no, there's always stories that get brought up. You know, we were always hard on it, not hard in a way of you know, making fun of each other, but we always sort of made each other work for things. And you know, footy in the backyard, it was, no matter if it was me or the oldest, it was like you go in as hard as you can. And
Yeah.
it was 10 times bigger than me, but that still didn't bother him. But I think that's why, you know, that competitiveness, like I said before, comes out now in baseball, and, you know, why playing against guys that are 10 years older than me doesn't really faze me, because I've had it, you know,
Done it
sort of
all
my
your
whole
life,
life.
yeah.
And, you know, growing up, sort of, it's this way or it's, you know, it's no other way. So
Sick.
Yeah, it is.
That's really nice. Can you play backyard baseball?
yeah, so we used to play, it's called wiffle ball. So they
Okay.
use a plastic ball, which has got little holes in it,
Yep.
and a plastic bat. So the ball doesn't go as far, but we used to play that a lot. Sort of like the cricket ball, with the tennis ball, you used to tape up one side,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just
Yeah,
swing
yeah.
it the way. So you used to do that with the baseball, and it used to just sail one way or the other.
Yeah, right.
That probably caused the most fight. Half of the time you didn't know where the ball was going, so you'd be batting and it would hit you in the face,
Yeah.
hit you in the ribs, and then yeah, there was tears and a lot of tears in our household. So you know, Mum just let us play, and then as soon as there was tears, come in, and then back out you go. So no, it was always fun, and we'd always played backyard cricket, footy. You know,
So you're allowed to play cricket even though you play baseball. It's a thing. Yes,
Yeah,
You're allowed to change it up.
backyard cricket. Christmas Day is we always do that.
Yeah, cool.
January birthday, and my brother Josh is 2 years older than me. His February birthday. We sort of have the same sort of friend group. He's 2 years older, so we've grown up around the same people. And there was a couple of years there we used to run an annual cricket game sort of in between our birthdays.
Yeah.
And we used to go down to a local park in Melville, jump the fence of a primary school.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're
Classic.
not listening.
Yeah. Shout out.
And we used to get a bunch of mates and, you know, bring the eskies down and play almost like a barefoot
T20.
actual cricket game, T20
cool.
sort of thing. And that was sort of something like we would wait weeks and weeks for, like
That's sick.
sleepless
Yeah,
nights
that's
waiting for it and things like that. And we still do it now at my parents' house. We mow the grass and put the creases in and wickets up. And
Unreal.
just
That's
come
like
in
my dream, man.
Steaming and bowling the tennis balls as hard as you can. And half the time we're throwing it because you want to bowl it harder. So yeah, it's just my parents live on property, so we've just always had that freedom to
Yeah.
go there and hit golf balls and, you know, play catch and
Yeah,
hit
sick.
balls out there. So
Yeah, what we always had with our brother dynamic, it would always end in, especially that me and Jake, it would end in a tussle or a fight or a, I should have won, this should have happened, no foul call, this and that. But it'd always end up being like, all right, now we're beefing, and then 10 minutes later we both get bored and we want to do something else.
Yeah, and we just
So we're boys again.
find another game to fight about.
Is that similar to you?
the same.
Yeah.
The
Was
amount
there
of
ever
times-
alliances? Because there's 3, they can't really have alliances, but when there's 5, there's a lot of different connections going on.
Yeah, well, we always try to play something when there was no teams, just because it was
Okay.
so uneven.
Yeah.
But there was so many times it was like, fucking hate you. I never want to see you again. And next thing you know, you're watching a movie together.
Yeah, that's
2
it.
hours later. So no, we're a very, very close family. We don't see each other as much as we did. Obviously, work, family. You know, I've got brothers away, so if we don't see each other in person, we talk almost every day via text, and you know, whether it's things we see on the internet, things that our friends post that probably aren't funny that we just share with each other. so if you're listening then and it's not funny, all our brothers have probably seen it. But yeah, we sort of check up on each other. We sort of see how everyone's going. We share things. We know when one another's, if things are wrong or if one of them has a bad game or a good game, it's in our group chat, you always let them know they're having a good game, or if they're not traveling well, like what can they do to help? So it's always been like that, and been very fortunate that they've helped me throughout my baseball career, and I know they're going to continue to help me.
And how is it playing with your brother? Like playing proper sport with your brother? Like we played basketball together a fair bit. Especially when you started playing with me and my mates. I'm 25. How old are you? 19. So there's 6 years between us. When you used to play with me and my mates, you would have been about 16. So you're still in high school and shit. We're playing against like 30, 40-year-old dudes just down at Willerton. And the amount of fights I used to get into as a result of just like looking out for the kid who's still in high school. Like I got kicked out of the stadium multiple times. I imagine it would be a very similar brotherly love type setup amongst the boys where like you can fight with your brother as much as you want. But the moment someone says or does something about it outside of that circle, there's hell to pay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always been like that. Like, we give each other shit more than anyone on the team.
Yeah.
And, like, Tim will bag me out. I'll try and bag him out. But it doesn't always end up well. But he's always going to have my back when other shit hits the fan or, things happen to me or things happen to him. And he'll be the first one to back me up and I'll be the first one to back him up and the rest of our brothers as well. And, yeah, that's just the way it's always been. And, being in the clubhouse together, like, he's a bit more... Obviously, being the captain, he's a bit more chilled out. He does his thing. I'm a bit more crazier in the club rooms, the music and, conversations you have with people and dances you do in the club. People get it. But, sometimes I do it and then I look over in the corner and he's just staring at me, shaking his head. So, I take it. But, no, that's just the professional he is and that's just the way he's done it his whole career. And everyone's different. Like, pre-game, I put on music, I joke around with everyone, do stupid stuff in the clubhouse, and Tim's very much preparation.
Yep.
Relax, focus, and things like that. But that's just the way I've always got ready for games.
Well, that's
and he's never going to tell me not to do it, and I'm never going to tell him to, muck around and sort of
well, it's who you are. You don't want to change. You sort of want to curb each other in that sense. Like
exactly.
Yeah, that's what makes you. What happens? This is a question that you asked possibly before Sam got here. What happens in the dugout? Like when you're actually in the dugout, there seems to be this. I don't know. It's an unsure area for mine. It looks cool. I want to be in there.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, the stuff you hear in the dugouts where you hope no one else hears, really.
Yeah.
But no, a lot of banter goes on. But during the game, it's all about baseball. A lot of the talk is what people see that other people might not see. So you might go up to bat and he might throw you the ball a complete different way that he throws to someone else. So it's good just to sort of give the heads up to other players or other batters so that once they go up there, it's not like it's like, oh shit, he's just throwing that. I never knew. Rather than if I tell them and they have a little bit of a heads up, it's not too much of a shock. But, we joke around. There's times where, you trip over and you come back to the dugout and it's like, everyone lets you know that you've just tripped over. Yeah. They have to let you know. And we joke around and everyone has pre-game handshakes and they do stupid stuff in the dugout. And it's the way that baseball should be and why it's so fun down at the Perth Heat because it's always been like that. And it's just been a fun environment and the culture there is the best culture I've ever had on any baseball team I've ever
played. It looks it. Like I obviously went to the Saturday game and in the least rude way possible, Adelaide weren't celebrating much, mainly because they hadn't done much. But there was a real vibe amongst the Perth boys, probably because you were putting 14 up on them.
Yeah, and that's the way it always has been. Like we probably hang out more off the field than we really do at the field.
Yeah,
and like, just builds that good team vibe and chemistry, and that's the way it's always been. And the first thing we nail into these imports that come out is pretty much buy into the culture straight away. Otherwise, you're just not going to have any fun playing here. And they all do. And we've had such good imports that want to come out year after year after year because of what it's like off the field as what it's like playing with guys on the field as well.
That's sick. Love that. Love it.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Too good. Alrighty, boys, that just about brings us to the end of another episode of the MacPack podcast. But before we finish up, we're going to do our favourite weekly segment. It's our only weekly segment. It's going to be hosted by Sam. It's our Everyday Hero. Take it away, Sammy.
Yeah, for me, I know you guys sort of spoken to me about it before, but, you know, for me, it's not just a hero, but it's heroes, and it's probably my brothers. It's they're always people I've looked up to.
Yep.
I've been asked this question a million times, who's your favourite baseball player? And, you know, you can say, you know, the highest paid, whoever's in the major leagues, or the best player, but, you know, for me, it's always been my brothers. They're the first people I go to if I have issues on or off the field. You know, if the swing's not feeling right, or, you know, something's hurting, or, you know, I don't know what to say to a coach. They're the sort of the first people I approach, and they've always been honest. You know, if they say I suck, I know I'm going to be told that I suck. And, you know, if they say I'm doing well, and I know I'm doing well. And I think the best thing is that they're honest, that, you know, I don't have a bad game and they're like, no, don't worry, good game. It's like, well, fuck, I don't know what it really is. But they've always been really good at, you know, if you do have a bad one, they see a lot of things that you might not see, and it's, you know, straight away it's constructive criticism, and it's I never take it a bad way just because I've grown up with them, and it helps, and it's gotten me to, you know, play 10 years professionally. Otherwise, you know, I don't think if I had them once I left the States, I don't think I probably would have had much involvement in baseball.
Right.
So, no, they've always been there, and if they're not there in person, I'll text them, and if it's an issue, they'll call me 20 seconds later, and whether it's a 20-minute phone call, whether it's a 10-second phone call, it's always something that helps. And they're always there to sort of fix things or encourage me to sort of keep going with what's happening.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. And I must say, like, obviously we're three brothers, but I've noticed just amongst even my mates and stuff, the brother element of whatever happens is very honest. Like, as you said, like, they might see something. A lot of people see it, but unless you're like very, very close to someone, which is like a brother bond, in my opinion, you're not necessarily going to tell them the honest truth. Like, you can literally say anything to a brother, but you know it comes from a good place. If your mate said what you allow your brother to say, you wouldn't probably be mates with them for very long. There just seems to be a completely different air of what goes on.
It's the blood.
It is.
What happens a lot, like even in baseball with coaches, like it may be something with my swing, and I might say to a coach, like, you know, I think it's this, or like this doesn't feel right. But if it's my brothers, I'm like, this just feels like absolute shit.
Yeah.
And they might see something before I even say something. So, not saying that I'm not brutally honest with coaches, but I just think that my brothers understand me, you know, a lot more, and you know, they help with sort of the mental side of it rather than just the physical side as well.
And especially being like, they've probably been in a very similar position. You're the youngest, obviously, so they've obviously probably been in a very similar position to you before. Some of the shit that he does, he gets up to, or whatever, he learns about is shit that we've all done prior. Do you know what I mean? You can learn from those mistakes. If I was doing what he does at 19, there'd be no way that I'd be doing what he's doing at 19. And I find that would probably be pretty similar with your brothers. Like, your oldest brother, I wouldn't imagine was playing at the level in the league in which you were when you were fucking 13.
No, and like we've all been on the same or very similar journey. So it's like they've done what I've done at 26, and you know, one of them, he finished his career at 28, and you know, I'm 2 years off that, and he finished his international career then. So obviously for me now, it's like I'm coming to the very end, if not finished with an international career. It's like, well, what do I do now? And instead of just sort of being in a hole where it's like, you know, overthinking of what I'm going to do, it's easy enough just to ask him, and him just give me the feedback he's given me. And you know, he's still playing now and still playing at a high level of baseball.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's fantastic. Love it.
really
Probably one of the best MacPack heroes, and it's like very related to what we're all about.
Give it to the Brother-Mingos.
We love that. The Brother-Mingos, the Kennelly Brother-Mingos are winning this week's Everyday Hero. Alrighty, boys, that just about brings us to the end of another episode of the MacPack podcast. Can't thank Sam enough for joining us here on the MacPack podcast.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, what an insight.
Yes.
I've been overwhelmed. I loved
It's
it.
one of the most interesting episodes we've had, I think.
Yeah, especially for, I very personally, especially for me, like, that's quite selfish, but I've enjoyed I've enjoyed it. Like, it's been good. Student of the game. Thanks so much for coming, man.
Obviously, baseball's not as big in WA or Australia in general, but yeah, to be able to share experiences, talk about it, share knowledge and things like that. It's something that I enjoy doing. A lot of people enjoy doing, and to get the sport out there a bit more, it's it's cool. And
Simple question. We haven't asked it yet. Who was the first person in your family to say baseball? Mum, dad?
I think mum and dad. Yeah.
Good choice. They've done well.
Yeah, they've done the right.
It's worked out very well for your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we've been very fortunate and to travel the world and play and play in countries where I don't know if I'd ever buy a plane ticket to, but to be able to go there and play baseball and experience it it's unreal. And it's, you pinch yourself sometimes and you think, I've done this for a job my whole life and, continue to do it. And it's taken you places where, people only dream of going and you've done it as a job. So I've been very lucky and very fortunate.
Yeah, that's 100%. I must say you're very, what's the word? Down to earth in the sense that you've achieved so much in 10 years. And you wouldn't know it by looking at in the way in which you carry yourself. Like you're just a very nice man. Yeah, at the end of the day, like you're just so chill, so laid back. If I'd achieved half what you've achieved,
this guy.
people would know about it.
Nah, if I did that, my brothers would be on me.
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
But I think my favorite thing, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, it might have been in one of the breaks, but it was when you went. I can't remember where you went, and people were talking about shit that you'd done in Perth.
Oh yeah, it's anyway. You travel through the States, and a lot of baseballers will tell you that you might have done something in a Rockingham shopping centre 10 years ago, and then someone in Texas will know about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy how they know things about you, and you just can't hide from anything really. So that's the one thing that we've always been brought up to do is do the right thing both on and off the field because someone's always watching, or someone always knows what you've been doing. So
yeah, you're a very humble man. Come from a very very good family, good crop, I reckon.
Yeah, cream
it's
of the
been
crop.
good. Yeah,
not bad.
So he plays it down straight away. Get down to a Perth Heat game. That's the only thing I could possibly tell people is make sure that you do get down. Because if you've learnt nothing else, there are some genuine superstars playing. We've been fortunate enough to sit next to one for the last probably 2 hours or so. And yeah, fucking oath. It's an absolute delight to go down and see a game. I must admit, I lost my little Perth Heat virginity over the weekend.
Hell yeah.
And
Sam.
and I'll definitely be back. Like the atmosphere down there is so cool. The amount of it's just, I can't express the vibe enough. It's very low key. It's very chill, but I think that's what makes it what it is. It's sick.
Oh yeah.
So the Perth Heat play, once this episode comes out, the following week. So it's the first weekend of December, which is the 2nd all the way through to the 4th. And Sam was saying they usually play Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. So
fucking anytime you want, go down.
yeah, basically if you
don't have 3 things on that weekend, okay?
you'll find a reason to go down. The tickets are very cheap as well.
Yep.
Cheap tickets, cheap drinks, cheap food, great atmosphere, great night. Couldn't recommend it enough. Sam has also been so kind to donate a jersey and a ball to the MacPack podcast, which, mate, absolutely love it. If you don't think I'm going to be wearing that first weekend of December, you got another thing coming. And as we do with every guest, we have got a MacPack VIP cap to award Sam. This is number 21. I'm sorry it's not number 24. They come out in order in which you attend the podcast. So to get in top 24 is pretty handy.
I've seen in movies and TV shows and in the game, there's a lot of little hat things from the coach, a bit of that going on from the sidelines. Is any of that going to be happening with the MacPack? Do you guys have any of those, rub your ear twice, stroke your cock, and then tap your hat?
Yeah, we've got a few. None of the cock touching, but it's, the ears and the nose and the cap. And
oh, really?
Yeah, it's a few signals just to let know which player, to do what. And
that's cool.
Just so the other team don't.
But how do you know, how do you know Jimmy's playing with his hat over in the corner? Or is it like everything you look over?
Normally when you're batting, it's every pitch. It's a coach there that does specific signs.
Okay, cool.
One sign means this and one sign means that. And
the cock one means something completely different.
Yeah.
After hours.
That's just Jake in the third row.
Yeah, that'll be me. December 2, you'll see me. What's that guy doing over? No, that's just for Sam, that one. It's been an absolute pleasure to do this with you boys. Sam, thank you so much for coming on the MacPack podcast. Until we do this time next week. Oh, do you know the out? I love doing this. You go with it.
Sam, mate, at the end of every episode, we tell the fans to go give their mum a hug. So you can say it. When Jake points at you, say, go give your mum a hug.
When Riley gives you the the cock touch. That's the cue.
That's the time.
Easy. All right. Until we do this time next week. Stay safe, stay blessed, and always remember to
Give mum a hug. That's right.
ciao for now, but not forever.